Well, hello, and thank you very much for clicking on this video today. So, this is about a very topical issue. So, today, the UK Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, has announced a social media ban for under 16s, which will prevent people from accessing apps like Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and X. Taking a leaf from Australia, the UK will introduce a similar ban taking effect from spring 2027. However, the government will actually go further by restricting live stream and stranger communications for children on things like gaming sites. So, I tentatively support this, but as a lot of people have kind of already pointed out, I'm not the only person to make this analysis. This doesn't really solve anything particularly. This is basically just sweeping the dust, the issue under the carpet. But let's kind of go into this a little bit further. So Starmer has insisted that the ban is essential as the use of social media, is making children more miserable, and I would argue making adults kind of more miserable in general. Certainly, people that access social media kind of constantly all the time. I mean, I only have my YouTube. Particularly, I really don't have much of the social media. I don't really bother with it. And it has increased access for bullying and intimidating behaviour, whilst also making it easier for strangers to contact young people through gaming platforms and other social media, like that Roblox scandal. I don't know if you listen to this, you remember that, where predators were using Roblox to basically groom kids, and the creators of the Roblox didn't really care, and I've been sued about it, but that's a whole other issue. So I'm taking some of this from an article on the Canary, which I'll link, as I always do, in the comments, so you can kind of read it for yourself. So there have been some people that have kind of come out in favour of this. So the bereaved mother of Esther Gray had said, "I'm so glad now this announcement has been made," adding, "Another thing that I'm really happy about is the government is investing in after-school clubs because we can't just take things away from children." And at a time when things like social developments, building friendships, and developing social skills is becoming an increasing problem, the increase in after-school funding, which they have announced, is a welcome development. Sure, I'm in favour of that. But here's the thing, this policy itself is kind of reflective of the fact of, we acknowledge that it is toxic. Social media is toxic, but rather than making the companies that actually own the websites actually try and make it more, shall we say, less toxic, less full of misinformation, that kind of things, we'll just ban younger people from it, and that will solve the problem. It doesn't really solve anything that much, because it's not as though it's only under 16s that are affected by social media. They're more vulnerable, sure, but I've known and seen adults who have been deeply affected by social media and the content that's on it. And as the article of Canaries kind of highlights, it points to Isaac, a young boy who will be affected by the ban, saying it seems that he has a bit more of a grasp on this than many politicians, saying to the BBC, "I'm annoyed and disappointed in the decision because I'm not trying to make it better or safer. Instead, they're going to wipe it away completely. I think there should be more restriction of parental guidance on accounts, but not a ban," which I think kind of echoes kind of what I've said. Meanwhile, people like Jim Gamble, who is the founding chief executive of Child Exploitation on the Online Protection Centre, believes the policy won't really work and will just push children to darker corners of the internet. He adds that many Australians bypass the restrictions using virtual private networks. They circumvent them by submitting fake IDs or altering their appearance to trick AI age estimation. If you actually look at the statistics, it's a double-edged sword, because the internet does as much good for isolated, alienated children, for children with neurodiversity, with children exploiting different aspects of their young lives. It's a space and a place where they could build positive networks. And as I've said, I'm kind of generally in favour of this, because I do agree it is quite often harmful for children, but it just doesn't really solve the problem in any kind of substantial way. And it's important to note that, as many people pointed out, the policy has not actually been that successful in Australia. Statistics have indicated that a whopping 70% of parents in Australia have reported that their children are still on banned platforms, which doesn't really suggest that it's working at all. And we've already seen how the algorithms that social media sites use amplify anger, extremism, and division. And there's a reason for that. There's the fact that many of the tech bros that own these things are actually far-right losers. There's that, which is not great. But there's also another aspect of it, which is that it's content. It generates money. These websites and social media platforms want people firing at each other, saying hateful things to each other, because it fills up the comment section, it drives engagement, and that drives advertising, it drives profit. So there is an incentive on the part of these social media platforms to basically engage in this. And they've admitted it. They've said very openly, oh yeah, we do this. It's very well known. So, at the end of the day, this feels rather like a cynical, virtue-signaling, tokenistic gesture to protect kids, whilst not really changing any of the harmful systems that are in place. And there is also another aspect to this, which is there's been a lot of discussion about digital surveillance, the prospect of, will we all need digital IDs in the future? And there is, as the analysis on the Canary and I've seen in other places have said, there is a risk that we may kind of be slowly stepping into that realm where to get on any website, to access any kind of thing, you will need to show your face. And to be honest, I'm not really comfortable with Facebook or TikTok or whoever the fuck, like having my face, my name, my address. Like, yeah, I don't trust them. I think anyone that really does trust them with that kind of information is kind of foolish. But hey, what do you think about it? Let me know in the comments sections. Thank you very much for listening to this video today, and I will catch you later. Bye bye.